Well, good evening, folks. Welcome to another episode of Old Man in the Van. Now, I've just been watching a video and I've been inspired to make this response to a video that King Riches is responding to. So it's a response to a response. I think he's changed his channel name to Michael King, but it doesn't matter. I'll leave the link in the description box so you can watch his video in its entirety. So okay, so even though I'm going to leave a clip of the video after this segment, I'll still tell you what the video is about. So basically, you got a white woman in a limousine with a black guy. She says to the black guy that when a white woman receives attention from black men, that the white woman gains no status from it. That attention has little to no value. Whereas when she receives attention from a white man, then she gains status. That attention is more valuable. And it's on the back of that information that video went viral, and there was a bit of reaction to it. Now, I'm quite surprised that there was a reaction to that video. And I will tell you why, for a number of reasons why I'm surprised. So reason number one, the location, America. The people involved in this video are American. Now, unless you've been living underneath a rock, you know the history of America. I mean, the foundation of America was built on racism. So I'm not saying that all white people in America are racist. Far from it. That'd be a stupid thing to say. But I'm just saying the revelation that a white person says that it says that sorry, I just saw something that caught my attention a minute ago. Sorry about that. I got slightly distracted. The fact that a white person in America says that attention from a white man is superior to that of a black man. Is that really a shock from the land that's had its foundations built on racism? Is that really a surprise? Again, I'm not saying that every white person in America thinks this way, but it's to me, it's kind of like being surprised that black people go to the Notting Hill Carnival. You know, if you don't know anything about Notting Hill Carnival, it's Europe's biggest street festival. It's a West Indian festival that takes place in London, West London, Notting Hill Carnival. So, black people, Notting Hill Carnival, some white people in America equals racism. Not all white people, but you know what I'm saying. You know, America is one of the meccas of racism. So, why would anyone be shocked about that statement coming from America? Right? I'm not saying that here in the UK we live in a utopia. We have our problems as well, but I'm just saying America is well known for that. So that's reason number one. Reason number two, maybe this is a generational thing. I don't know, but like back in my day, you know, despite the fact that, you know, I'm an old school funky clubber, and you know, one of my biggest loves was being on the funky soul scene. However, we still grew up with roots reggae, and the last ambassadors of conscious music, to my knowledge, was Public Enemy. Now, I'm sure there's been other conscious songwriters since then, but that's for you to educate me on. So as far as I know, the roots reggae of the 70s and the early 80s and the late 80s, we had Public Enemy giving conscious information about black history, black oppression that black people has been under, and so forth and so forth. So again, on the back of that knowledge, why would you be surprised of that mindset coming from, I'm going to use a term that doesn't really exist, but for the sake of this video, I shall use that term, for the mindset that comes from white culture. You know, I mean, the mindset that white people are superior to people of color, especially black people, has been embedded in white culture for hundreds of years. Doesn't matter which white country you go to, Europe, America, wherever, you know, it's embedded in white culture. I know like white culture doesn't really exist, but you see what I'm saying. However, though I say this, I'm not saying that every single white person is a racist, no. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, you look at Hollywood, you look at TV, you look at advertising company, which you got subliminal messages has been given for hundreds of years. So even though a white person who hasn't got a racist body in their bone, they at some point in their life they would succumb to the doctrine that's been embedded in their subconscious at some point in their life. You see what I'm saying? So on that, so that's another reason why I'm not surprised. Now, despite the fact that though since my teenage years I have received a warmer welcome from women outside of my race, I've dated more women from outside of my race. However, this does not mean that I don't get, or I haven't had any positive response from black women. Doesn't mean I haven't dated any black women, but if I had to compare the numbers of positive response I've got from the non-black women, especially white women, because it's not only white women that's given me positive response. I've had positive response from South Asians and Latinos, Arab women, and so forth. So if I was to compare the numbers to non-black women, the numbers would eclipse the numbers of from positive black from positive reaction from black women, right? But this is not taking anything away from black women as such, because if I'm just not their type, I'm just not their type. You know, it's, you know, you like what you like. So I'm not gonna have anything against a black woman who doesn't find me attractive. You know, I can't make her like something she don't like. So there we go. Right. So despite all of that, despite the fact that, you know, my dating history, I'm still very aware of my surroundings. I'm very good at reading body languages. I've worked as an entertainer for over 20 years. I've been a pro dancer. I was touring in Poland, where wow, of all the places, despite the reputation of Poland being very racist towards black people, I had the warmest welcome anywhere I've been on this planet in Poland. That's an irony, especially from the women. However, that doesn't mean I'm gonna go send my black ass to Poland and live there. You're fucking far from it. However, the point I'm getting at is, despite all the positiveness I've had, I'm still very aware of what's going on around me. I don't walk into places with my eyes closed, especially when I was in Italy, when I had an Italian girlfriend. I was very aware of my surroundings. So what I'm saying is, this notion of a white person saying that attention from a white person is more valuable comes as no surprise. I can't, you know, it's a known fact for years since I've been growing up. If you're a black person, you got to be twice as good as a white person. And so I couldn't understand why was there such a shock behind that statement. And ironically, I've come from a weekend event, Butlins Adult Weekender. I will show you all the fancy dress and the good times I had there. Now, the reason why I mentioned Butlins Adult Weekender is my final point I'm going to finish off on, which is associated with the comment made. In my 58 years of living, I'll be 59 in August, in a couple of months. My 58 years of living, I've noticed there's two types of people on this planet. You've got a global person and you've got a tribal person, right? Okay, for the sake of anyone who needs a breakdown, I'll be as quick as I can, right? A tribal person is comfortable only in their familiar surroundings, be it food, be it the culture, be it the type of people around them. It doesn't matter what color you are, whether you're black, white, Chinese, whatever. You got tribal people who just like to be around people like them and the culture and food like them, and they feel uncomfortable if they're taken out of their familiar surroundings and they're put in a situation where they're not familiar with. Whereas a global person, irrespective of color, is the exact opposite. You could take them out of their familiar surroundings. Let's say you have a global white person who lives in the middle of Cornwall, and you stick them in the middle of Notting Hill Carnival, surrounded by multiple of black faces. It wouldn't faze them because they don't see difference as a negative. They would just party and get on with their surroundings. Same way if you took them to the Amazon jungle, or you take anybody who's a global person from any part of the world, put them anywhere, they'll just get on with it. I am 100% global person because I grew up in West London. Since I was a little kid, my circle of friends has always been like United Nations. I grew up with a diversity of people whose parents came from various parts of the world. I grew up amongst the world, you know, and even when I was in high school, it was the same thing. My so-called gang, not that kind of gang, not American gang, but just my group of friends, we were like United Nations. And the funky clubs I've gone to has always been mixed, you know. Though I loved reggae music, but I wasn't really down with the reggae scene. But that's another story for another day, you know, as such. So, I haven't really been involved in places that's just got just pure black people, and I haven't been involved in a place that only just has pure white people, apart from the Butlins Adult Weekend, where it's predominantly white, and it's predominantly tribal white. And so reason why I'm bringing that up is I spot the difference in terms of an inner city white person compared to a suburban white person. Now, just because most of the people in Butlins are tribal whites, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're racist. I'm not saying that. I'm not suggesting that for 1 minute. Though every racist is a tribal person, but not every tribal person is a racist. You see the distinction there. So what I'm saying is, I'm very familiar with the body language in any Butlins place I go to, where I could see that, oh, they're not really familiar with mixing with people of color. Doesn't mean they're racist, but they're just not. They come from parts. They're Middle England. They're from Middle England, and they're not really inner city people. So their ways are very different to an inner city person. So again, hence why I wouldn't really invest a lot of time in chasing a lot of the women there, because I'd be alien to them. So if a white woman in Butlins was to say, well, the attention I get from a white man is more valuable than attention I get from a black guy, that's no surprise to me. So again, it all adds up to my life experience and things I've seen, why I'm not surprised by that statement at all. So I'm just shocked that that video got so much traction, you know. I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's, like I said, maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe the young generation just doesn't have as much consciousness as what I did. And I'm not even a pro-black. I'm not even a hotep. And I've forgotten more black history than many people even discover. So yeah, so it's a bit of an irony there. So there you go. So that's my feedback. And so listen, I'm open to constructive criticism. I'm open to being corrected. I don't know everything. I welcome learning. I welcome learning new things. So if there's anything I've misquoted, if there's anything that I've missed out, anything you could teach me on, yeah, though I'm an old dog, you could still teach me new tricks. So there you go. So 14 minutes, too long a video. So I'm gonna cut it down here. And okay, well, thank you very much for stopping by and watching my microscopic video. I'm speaking fast, so I want to try and make this video short as I can. So there you go. Well, have a good evening, and once again, thank you for your time. I don't take it for granted. And leave your comments and give me your feedback, and there you go. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
Right? But I think that, especially as black guys living in countries which are predominantly non-black, we sometimes can get caught up in the sauce and start to simp after non-black women. So I think a video like this is very eye-opening, and it will actually just make a lot of guys see what the truth is. So anyway, let's go back and do this again.
Facts. Like, if you grow up as a white girl,
Yes.
and you get attention from black guys,
Yes.
in my experience and all the other white girls that I know, we don't think that getting attention from black guys gives you a status of some sort. If you get attention from the white guys,
No,
you do have the status more than if you get attention from black guys.
as a man.
Are you lot listening to what she just said? That first opening part, basically saying that status from black guys is worthless to white women. There's no value, there's no status to it. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Because in society, like, as I've said many times, the white men are perceived to be, you know, the most valuable man in the dating scene.